turning this on always gives me apprehension. Yes, the battery's connected, it all works. It's loading all the data, there you go. That is a nice bait ball. I don't know what it is, but look at all this bait. Come on, I accept it. Let's look at this. You done loading data? See some bait. We ought to see something here pretty soon. Showing up. See, that could be a fish right there, man. You'd need to see a shadow though. Definitely lots of bait. Glass minnows for now. How's it going, sir?
I'm good. How are you, Steve?
Oh man, it's absolutely beautiful. You gotta love a morning like this.
I do. Did you ever fish these super pokies?
No, I've got a rattle trap.
Yeah,
But I've never caught a drum off of anything but a pop and cork.
Look how cheap up that one is. I caught 2 last week on it.
Nice. So what do? You just throw it underneath the school and let it go all the way to the bottom?
Yeah, I just do every kind of retrieve there is. Crank as fast as you can, let it sink. Pause, whatever. You can't fish it wrong. Last week I caught one trolling it. I was moving from point A to point B, threw it behind the kayak, stuck it right there, got about 30 seconds of paddling in, wham!
Do you catch a lot of blues doing that?
I've caught 1 blue on this.
Oh, okay.
But you know what's funny? Flounder love this thing in shallow water. You would never think it. You know our buddy Jim?
He said they, he said they don't sell those anymore.
They don't. I buy them off of eBay.
Okay.
They stopped making them, but no, I'm telling you, these things are killer. Listen to this. Anyway, well, hope we get one today.
Well, I might have to put the rattle trap on one of my rods.
I'll tell you what, you know what happens is some days I get frustrated on the popping and I just don't do good, and so I switch back and forth.
Yeah, that's what I did last Saturday. So I've got like an extra long leader. This is an experiment that I'm working with.
All right, so one of the captain, he fishes extra long leader.
Well, I was listening to somebody's fishing report, the Fisherman's Post or something. They interviewed a guy, and I thought he had some really good ideas on like just how to switch it up is really the way that I looked at it, you know. And also, you know, I could just, if I have to retie, I could just get a little shorter as I go.
I usually start the season out with a longer one.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
No, there's no wrong way to fish for these fish too. Honestly, I mean, I've seen guys fish an 18-inch leader and catch them. I mean, I've had them eat my cork multiple times.
I don't know if that's happened to me or not. I don't think it has. I think you would know if it did.
How I got sold on these, Blabbermouth. I was out here one day with my buddy Gary, popping real quick. Man, I'm like, hey, I'm on, like first cast. And then it gets off, and I'm like, God, that sucks. And then I reel it in, I make another cast, and my cork just sinks. And I reel it in, I look at it, and the thing was crushed. What happened was the drum ate the cork.
Yeah.
It didn't hook up.
And just crushed it.
And then I'm looking through my box, and for some reason, all my corks from my other one. And then Gary goes, hey, man, come here. I got you one. He gave me one of these. And like, in a half hour, I caught 2. I was like, okay, sold.
Yeah.
You know, all the corks work. They all work. But that.
And I have a backup. It's a different brand, and it's got the flexible.
Oh yeah, I like
thing.
those. Bomber makes them, and so does Four Horsemen.
I think I either have one of those.
Both are good. As a matter of fact, I was with my sister about 2 weeks ago, and she was like, I don't think this cork works good, and I tried it. It worked.
And showed her up.
Well, let's get them, man.
Yeah. What's your strategy? I mean, if we've got bait, we should have big ones, right?
I'm just gonna hang out in this area. Honestly, there's no reason for me to go anywhere. We're either gonna crisscross their path. We're either gonna hit a pot of them or we're not.
It's true.
I'm just gonna keep looking.
I like staying close, considering winds are supposed to pick up later.
Yeah.
And good grief, look at this sunrise.
I know, it's gorgeous. Good luck, Chief. And listen, if you're close and I happen to catch one, I would appreciate if you snap a picture, but don't worry about it otherwise. I got plenty of pictures.
I'm the same way. I've got these horrible selfies because you can't
Catch one, I'll definitely.
you can't take selfies with these fish.
Catch one, I'm a good photographer. I'll come over and take several pictures.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, well, likewise. And I've got a tape measurer.
Yeah, I do too.
And I've learned if you measure the girth and the length, I've got an equation.
Yeah, well, I'd like to get that from you.
Yes, I've got it. It's
I have it somewhere, but I'd like to see it.
yeah, I've got it. It's on one of my videos where I actually had the foresight. Hey, I want to make this measurement.
In your recollection, what do you think what weights have you seen on you?
I have to go back and look at my video. One was 36.5 pounds or something was the equation. And I want to say it was like a 41-inch fish or something. But the one I caught last week, I was just so excited I caught one. I look back on the video, he was just fat. And I think that might have made him a heavier fish.
Yeah, that one I caught last week, it was a week ago Friday, it was 49 inches. The thing had an enormous head. And that thing, I'm not kidding, that thing was a big fish.
I mean, that's probably a real old fish.
And it was a male. And you know, normally males are smaller in my experience. That was just a monster male. The other thing that, doing this for a long time, that I've discovered, okay, so these things are going to be spawning here pretty soon. Once they spawn, the females, I think, are ravenous. And because the best fishing's ahead of us.
Is it really?
Yes.
Because I thought the prime was what?
That's what everybody thinks.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right.
Last year, my best days were end of September, beginning of October.
Okay. Awesome. This is exciting.
Yeah. And
you're hyping me up.
Yeah. And the females, I think, this is just my opinion, I catch a lot more females in September. And now, they're female because they're not croaking.
Yep.
And I think they're bigger and hungrier. So
and easier.
So what happens?
Easier to fool.
They're ready to eat after they spawn. Not that they're eating.
Are they? So you're saying they're not spawning? Are they waiting for the full moon?
Yes.
They're waiting for this upcoming. We're at quarter moon, and I don't know what is it. So we've got 3/4 of a moon to go.
Right. So I'm not a drum expert, but what I have been told by several guys who seem to be in the know that they spawn after the full moon in September.
Okay.
Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that's what I've been told.
What do you think about the full moon bite? Like, does a full moon, like a clear night full moon, does that ruin the fishing?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think everybody's got an opinion.
Yeah, I've heard a bunch of different ones.
And I don't know what's right or wrong. All I know is you can't catch one off your couch. So
yes.
Get your butt out there. Let's see, like the best advice right here. These guys, they go right across the fishing zone. It's like, why don't you go out here and just come in and fish?
I had so many people do that to me last weekend.
It's annoying.
2 months ago, I started watching my bull drum videos again, getting ready for this, and I didn't notice it until I was editing the film that I'm catching a fish like a little bit over to the left and just barely off to the right. I see another swirl when the other one comes, and I'm like, oh, he's got a friend.
Oh, they do. I've had free swimmers before come up with the one I hooked.
Well, that happens to me a lot when I do smallmouth bass fishing. That happens a lot, especially in a river. Yeah.
That's the thing about people say, well, where do you catch these fish? There's no spot.
Yeah.
That's what people don't get.
Well, they have tails. They swim.
Have tails, and the bait fish have tails.
You just find a bait.
What you do is you find a place you can put your kayak in the water.
That in my opinion has been the biggest challenge for me.
Right.
Is like different access points, and I earlier, maybe 2 weekends ago, I put my daughter at school. Uh-oh, did you see that?
No.
Had some bait getting chased right below my court. I put her in UNC Wilmington.
Did you see that? I'm sorry, did you see that? There was a Spanish mackerel.
Was that a Spanish?
Yeah, it was a Spanish.
Okay, I thought it was a mullet.
No, it was a Spanish.
Okay, then I saw Spanish chasing bait because it was swimming hard. Yeah, swimming fast.
There's a lot of Spanish mackerel in this area. I think they're mullet, but they're not.
But I dropped her off at UNC Wilmington and then just drove up the coast looking for spots and drove up on the south end of the river just trying to, you know, look at spots. I've only looked at some of these spots on Google. Went to the Cedar Island Ferry.
I've actually gone up to people's houses
and knocked on the doors.
Their door and asked them, you know, hey, you know, would you mind if I throw my kayak in behind your house and park my truck here? People generally are so friendly.
That's really good to hear. I think they just appreciate you asking, because some people just don't even ask.
What I do is I'll put a bottle of like bourbon in my car, and then when I get back, I just walk over to my truck and say, hey, thanks a lot. And they're like, hey, wow, thanks. Of course, I did that one time, and the people were
Baptist.
The thought was nice. Speckled trout in April and throwing a lure up in the bushes.
I don't know if this is true.
Yeah.
But I may have found a bull on my fish finder.
Oh, you know,
here's the thing. I know bait.
Yeah,
but I don't know if I've got a bull or not.
You probably do, because I will tell you, I've come out here with guys and they go, oh, I just had 2 big fish go under the boat, and then we get a hookup.
That's where I've never been like, oh, my side scan, there's a fish right there, cast there, catch it. I haven't done that yet, but I have been like my fish finder is like blowing up.
I think your fish finder is probably very true. I've had that happen multiple times with different guys going, oh, we just had a couple of big fish under the boat, and then 30 seconds later we hook up. Let's just move that way.
I'll just look for big bait, and I mean we'll look for it on the surface, and I'll look on the fish finder.
I want to just move that way just a little bit.
So tell me about your rod setup, because I've been switching up a lot of stuff lately. The first drum I ever caught, full drum, was right off of that marker right over there.
Which one? This one?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah,
I mean, we were practically in the same exact spot. And if you watch my video, it's a horrible video because the audio is horrible. That's why I got this big fluffy thing on the top of my head. It's my audio recorder. This is a cheap knockoff GoPro kind of a thing. And so I just went to Bass Pro Shop, told them I'm going after red drum. You know, I know I want a reel that's sealed, like, you know, for saltwater or whatever. He goes, well, you want a pin? And I'm like, okay. And he had these combos, and it was like, I don't know what it was, like $160 or something. I'm like, I'll take it. Caught my first drum, went out and on Amazon, bought a second one. But they were like, I don't know, 6.5 foot rods. And I'm learning that I like a longer rod. And check this out. This is the one I caught it on yesterday. It's an 8-foot surf rod. And I think I really, really like it.
8-foot rods are, man, you can cast them a mile.
Lots of stuff on the bottom right now, very, very bottom. Not a lot, not a ton, but there's something down there.
I mean, there's fish anywhere. One of the things, I was talking to one of the guides 2 days ago. I'm friends with several of them. And they've been telling me that a lot of the bait is staying deep. It's one of the reasons why some of the guys are struggling with popping corks so far, because they're not really, the bait's not coming up as like always. Now, last Saturday when we were out, you were out, you caught a fish, I caught a fish. There was a lot of bait on top last Saturday.
Well, and I was looking on the fish finder, and you'd have like a little bait pod on the top. But then I got bored and I just went straight over them because I wasn't
seeing that in your video.
And it went 13 feet down.
Yeah.
It got bigger as it got to the bottom, and really concentrated, like a tornado of bait is what I would imagine it was.
And I think, you know, I have not, this year's been a kind of a weird year, to be honest with you. I have not caught as many drum as I normally do, and I don't know what's going on. And a lot of guys I know who are really good fishermen have not even caught them. So it's kind of strange.
Oh.
Catching a lot of fish somewhere.
Well, aren't I special? I didn't know. I struggled.
No, but yeah. So I don't know. But I fish. I've been fishing a 7-foot medium heavy rod. Although I just tell you, I went saltwater fishing and I borrowed an 8-foot rod and I loved it. Another thing I've learned about these big drum. So when I was younger, I thought, oh, you only fish for these things at night with bait. Okay.
Yeah, and that was what? 20 years ago?
Yeah.
That's all anybody knew what to do.
Right. And so we didn't even leave the dock till it was dark. Now I'm catching these things at noon.
Well, from what I understand, it wasn't until these guys in Louisiana who came up with a pop and cork,
Yep.
like came up here or something, and it changed everything.
There's one guy. His name's Gary Dubiel, Spec Fever. He pretty much pioneered in eastern North Carolina.
And when was that?
Probably 2012.
Oh, see, that was not that long ago.
Not that long ago.
All right, I'm gonna like scan the horizon. What I do is I just scan the horizon, look for anything.
Yeah, you do your thing.
I look for birds.
Yeah, that's what I do.
So in the last this year is definitely different. In the last couple of years, I mean, I was seeing bait pods the size of school buses.
I know. So, same here.
And now they're just like these little things, and like the glass minnows have taken up. I heard a rumor that it's the Menhaden fisheries. The netting a lot of them. They're taking a lot of the bait, which is a huge issue in the Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah, I got spoiled rotten, Steve. I used to just come out here, no electronics, no nothing, and just paddle around and just see bait ball after bait ball.
Yeah, I mean, when it's like that, you don't need a fish finder.
Well, they are good. I mean, there's no doubt. If I get a pedal kayak, I'm definitely getting a fish finder.
I think what it does is it tells you, okay, the bait is here. You better get your line in the water. There's been instances like maybe I would have just pedaled on through.
Right.
And it stopped me in my tracks.
Oh, they're straight ahead.
There we go. That's where we need to be. Let's go. Good eyes.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Yeah, this bait, it's just pure bait underneath me right now. My fish finder blew up. All around me. This is where it happens. So the popping cork has pinned the bait fish on the bottom. That might mean there's no big fish on the bottom pushing them back up. But we are right where we want to be. That fish coming up to me? Crazy.
This is where you have to take a can't get frustrated attitude.
It's all in here.
Everything's right. It's got bigger schools of pogies, but it's just whether or not there's fish here.
There's bait here.
Right. We're doing everything right.
We found the bait. There's blues all around me. I think they're using me for protection. Yeah, that's the edge. I just came out of the bait pile. Come here. Come.
Look at that. I see it.
Come over here. This is it. This is.
I got bait over here too.
This is huge.
It's crazy.
This is a huge pile.
It's truly crazy.
It kind of coalesced underneath me.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta see it. I've just been watching you. Bait behind you all the time. I've had bait over here.
My fish finder on fire. It's like white hot. Yeah, if you catch one there, I might be bitter. I'm closer to your bait than you are. Hey, you need to get your rattle trap and throw it through there.
Yeah, I think. A couple weeks ago, I was fishing with a buddy guy in Fairfield Harbor. We were in a boat, didn't even have an electric motor. I was throwing this super boat, and we were popping, and we got a double hookup.
Nice.
Landed both. That was fun. Another thing you can do, although I'm going to talk to you, I stopped doing it. I used to put a 1/4 ounce lead head with a 5 or 6 inch swimming gulp mullet on it, no cork.
Yeah.
Throw it out behind my kayak with not a lot of line, just put it in a rod holder. I caught multiple big drum doing that. Just dead sticking it. The bad news is, what stopped me was a couple years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, I hooked one on the popping cork and then instantly hooked one on that. So I had a double going in my kayak, and it actually ripped the rod holder out of the kayak on my other kayak.
Did you lose your rod?
The rod, so I had a popping cork here, and the rod was under my kayak with a drum on it going that way, up against the bottom of the kayak.
I love it. See,
Broke 2 eyelets off my rod.
see, if you had a video of that,
That
would,
hilarious.
yeah.
And the big drum, that one got off. I caught the one on the popping fork, and I was like, you know what, I'm not doing that again.
Look at this guy. What, are you gonna just gonna drive right through? Can you go that way maybe? Turn around and go that way? Just a little bit? Thank you. Thank you. You're just gonna blow my spot, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Not that that helps or anything.
One little thing I would do too, for fishing these big rattle baits, when you get them up by the kayak, pause it before you lift it out of the water. I've had a couple times, right when I lift it out of the water, I've had a giant drum try to eat it after I've lifted it out of the water.
I'm liking all these problems. Every one of these things you consider a problem, like I wish I had.
Another thing I learned too, Steve, you can't reel too fast. One time I was trying to snag a pogie by casting it into a school.
Yeah.
And was trying to reel real fast to snag one, and I caught a drum.
Yeah, I've done that exact same thing. Not catch the drum, but like go after a pogie.
Yeah, that day I figured, okay, I can't reel too fast. That's good enough.
Do you do much topwater?
I do. I haven't done a lot of it for the big drum. I need to just dedicate a trip one time to it.
I'm with you, because that is a bucket list thing that I want to do.
I've got, I want to do it, and it does work. One of my buddies caught one on Topwater when I was with him.
Well, the main reason I love topwater, I don't know if there's any more fun you can have while fishing.
Yeah, you know what you need to do? You need to dedicate a trip on your YouTube channel to big drum and topwater.
Yeah, it might take
even this year, maybe next year.
Yeah, it's I do have a great video. So I've got access behind Masonboro Island, and that has been a hard nut to crack. But I was in the right place at the right time, got into a school of slots that were like very aggressive on topwater, and I had maybe one of the most fun times back there, and I've been chasing it ever since.
Yeah, no doubt. Over where I live, I've caught some nice slot drum on topwater, and it's fun. You catch them on light tackle, fishing 10-pound braid.
Yep.
And you're on a medium light rod or a medium rod. That is so much fun.
Speaking of braid, what braid do you have on right now?
I'm old school. I just have PowerPro 30 pound.
30 pound.
What do you use?
I have PowerPro 20 pound.
I personally don't think these fish are line shy at all. I think that if you get a big drum to commit to your cork, I don't think it matters. This is just me talking. I don't know if what I'm saying is true or not, but I think if you get a drum dedicated to eating that, if he's coming to that,
yeah,
he's eating whatever you got hanging there.
That's true.
It's a gulp, it doesn't matter brand, color, nothing.
And I do think if he's got a buddy, he's way more motivated than if he was by himself.
Yeah.
Because his buddy's going to get it. He's going to get it before his buddy does.
Oh, I've been told that by my drum expert buddy. He said these fish are very competitive.
Well, I've seen some epic videos where you get these, schools of 1,000 drum, and
I've seen those.
My buddy says he's fished those, right? And he's like, you're hanging out, and it comes like a wave.
Yeah.
And you're like, everybody get your lines out. The problem is, whatever you hook, you're not going to get. And the reason is they're packed in so thick, you couldn't pull them out of that pack.
Right.
You're not wrestling one fish. You're wrestling the 20 that's surrounding him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And he said, yeah, like we got into a school and lost all our terminal tackle, just like everything after that. Like we had to go back in. But he was like, it was the most epic thing.
I fish 30-pound braid for the big guys, and the reason I do is I'm trying to get the fish in a reasonable length of time. I think you should get one in less than 10 minutes. And the longer you have them hooked up, it's bad for the fish. And I have fished with a lot of guides, and all the guides fish 30 pounds.
Okay. I can get it done with 20.
No, you can, no doubt.
And when I horsed in that, I don't know if he was 50 inches. I never got to measure him. My buddy did say, good Lord, that's a big fish, right before I lost him. But my knot gave up before this braid did. I've studied my knots since then, by the way.
The one thing too is, and I'm not just saying this, but if you had 30-pound braid, you probably would have landed that fish before your knot came back. That's a possibility because one of the things I've discovered about braid, I like braid a lot. I fish it almost all my rods. I didn't used to. Obviously I'm old, so I fished mono. But braid, when you put a lot of pressure on it, you need to cut your line off every once in a while. Okay?
Yep.
If you catch a couple of big drums, I would probably retie, because I think braid cuts into itself and cuts into other line. Because
It just gets frayed too.
Yeah, because sometimes you catch 2 drums, so your knots are great, and then you hook another one, and you lose it. Or I've had my popping cork break off while I'm popping it.
Oh, that's not good.
And I'm like, oh, so if I'd hooked a fish, I would have lost the fish in 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Just caught 2 drums, so I know my knots were good. So the knots get fatigued or something. I don't know what it is.
Oh, you're making me think I need to retie.
Well,
because I literally have like from my last trip.
Well, I do retie. I don't do it after every trip. But if I catch like 4 drums, I typically retie. See, like I tie on my super pogies, I tie the braid right to the super pogie. I don't, and when I fish for all other species, I do put a leader of fluoro. But I don't do it on this one. But what I do, I pretty much retie after every trip on this. Because I think braid can cut into itself. But I've caught big drum on other people's rods that's 60-pound braid. So, I mean, I don't think they're line shy at all.
What about castability?
Well, typically we're doing that's at night fishing with.
I gotcha.
So it doesn't matter.
So you're just talking about wrestling them in.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to cast well. Over and over.
But you cast pretty well with your 30 though, right?
Oh, I do. I got one of my buddies who's out fishing.
Get a fishing report. We've caught 5 already.
Yo.
Where's that thunderstorm? Text. Oh, there's the thunderstorm. Where's it going?
He's just asking me if that's us out fishing. And I said yes.
So that's Surf City. That's all the way down at Surf City. It's like a chartreuse green or something.
It's right here. I don't know if you can see it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's a real flexible tail on it.
So I want to show you something. This is.
So you like bright greens?
I like bright green.
guessing?
I like glow. I don't think I'm not a. I don't think color is as important as everybody thinks, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think of this as dingy water, and I can see your lure clear as day from here.
Right. And
I mean, it's only a foot deep, but still.
Although people say fish dark colors in dingy water, I'm more tendency to fish pearl and chartreuse in dingy water. Yet my sister, when I was on her boat that day, we caught a couple weeks ago. My sister was fishing a dark purple plastic.
Well, that's what I heard. Okay, I've got the green as well. I've got the watermelon with the chartreuse tails. It's got like 3 colors on it. It kind of covers the gamut.
Yeah, my buddy's out here.
I've caught them on the red-headed white ones.
Yep. So have I. That was an old.
It's old school, but like I paint a lot of my fishing lures. Number one, it's just easy.
What's funny is I talk to guys all the time on private message on Facebook, and I get reached out to all the time. I talked to a guy in Raleigh about 2 weeks ago. He's like, I have a boat. I'm totally frustrated. I can't catch these fish. I've been fishing for them forever. It's a $40,000 boat, $3,000, and I've never caught one. I go on your website or your Facebook page, and I scroll through and see all these fish. What the? And so I actually called. I said, give me a call. I was driving to Raleigh to go to the airport. I talked to the guy. He was really nice, and I started telling him. I go, okay, now tell me what you do. And I go, okay. So I can tell you right now, you're doing a lot wrong. You need a little coaching, and you just need some confidence.
You're real close.
Yeah, you're close.
Boy, confidence. A little confidence goes a long way.
I tell all these guys, guys will tell me what they're doing. I go, you're doing everything right. You just need some confidence. You need to just catch a fish or two, and then it's a snowball. Because these guys, they come out here and they don't catch a fish. Like, oh, I'm never gonna catch one. Well, you and I know what we're doing. We're skunked.
Yeah.
You know, getting skunked on these fish is part of the game. The bottom line is you have to crisscross a pod of these fish. That is the key. Once you know what you're doing, it's all about being in the right place at the right time and finding the bait ball that has the fish.
You know, if you got a bait ball that you can't make go to the bottom with a popping cork, you better stay on it.
Yeah.
That's somebody's pushing them back up.
Right, yeah. I mean, and I've been out here where I haven't seen one lick of bait. So, I mean, it just...
I have not. I've only caught fish off a bait pod.
I have caught fish off nothing many times. And it's because I think they're moving through an area looking for bait. And I just blind cast off. There is definitely some luck in fishing once you know what you're doing. Like that tarpon I caught. I caught that 130-pound tarp.
What?
Yeah, it was a monster.
Holy!
I'll send you a picture of it.
Hold on a minute. You just like nonchalantly said, "Oh yeah, I caught a tarpon. I got a tarpon on my wall." You didn't say how big it was.
75 inches.
Holy!
On 40-pound mono.
That was going to be my next question. It's like, what was your setup?
And so I had all
Were you-
a hook on it. I just had a
Were you
J-hook.
fishing with anchor rope?
No, it was 40-pound mono. I had a J-hook on it. We were bottom fishing for big drum. It was during the day. We were doing really
I see bait busting up ahead if you just keep going straight.
But yeah, we were catching big drum, and I was on I don't have a boat. I had boats, but I don't. So we go out, and I just grabbed a rod out of my buddy's rod rack, and it didn't have a weight on it. And I was gonna go put it back and get a different one, and I thought, fuck it, why wouldn't a drum just eat something floating out there? And I was up in the bow, hooked a whole spot on it that was dead, and threw it on top of the tarpon. Yeah, the tarpon up here are big. We get a subset of tarpon that come up from Florida, and they're all big fish.
Like the little ones just don't make the trip.
They don't make the trip.
Interesting.
So, I mean, I've had guys tell me, if you catch a tarpon in North Carolina, it's going to be triple digits weight.
One thing I've learned, if you see a boat weight coming your way, go ahead and pedal around a little bit. It avoids a boat slap. You just sit still, it'll go plop, plop, plop up against your Tupperware boat. But if you go ahead and get in motion, you can avoid some of that extra noise.
The one thing you might want to add to your repertoire for the big drum is trolling. I have a buddy I fish with a lot, and he spends the majority of his time out here trolling. And he catches a lot of big drum trolling.
Well,
He's got a pedal kayak.
and what does he troll with? Just a Z-Man, like a 5-inch or something?
He trolls like those, and he trolls these big rattle traps.
All right.
Caught one with me, like 10 days ago out here. We each caught one on rattle trap, so whatever these super pokey things are.
Yeah, because when I come out here, I am going from spot to spot. So if I do that, I need to just throw something behind me.
So throw something behind you. I mean, I've caught a lot of fish doing that. That big white house down there, there's a big white house down there. I've caught drum right off of that.
And that's what? 5 foot of water?
Yeah, probably. I've caught these big drums up in shallow water. They're rarely there.
Yeah, but it can be done.
I've been fishing these things so many times in my lifetime. You're gonna see everything. And I've seen a school of drum up in shallow, in like 3 feet of water, just busted. Like, 20 fish. Paddle over and cast into them.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that.
It's gonna happen to you.
What is the craziest catch? Like the video from last weekend. I mean, the fish charged the boat. I thought he had gotten off or something there for a second.
That happens a lot. And that's usually when they get off. Usually, the only time I usually lose a fish is if they run right at me and I can't keep up with them.
Uh-huh.
That's usually the only time I lose a fish, honestly. I haven't had a lot of crazy stuff. I mean, I've had drum come up and I've seen their back. I've seen them circle my cork, and then the cork disappears. I don't know if it's the same fish or a different fish. I've had that. I've had them come up and go after the cork, not grab it, and then see my bait and grab it. I've had that several times.
And you've had them come up to your boat?
Oh, I've had them right up to. I've had big drum bump into me.
By accident?
Yeah. Oh no, chasing my pokey back. Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
I've hooked fish reeling in my popping cork.
Uh-huh.
I did last September. I was reeling in a popping cork to make a cast and hooked the drum.
Immediate pinfish. Boom, boom, boom. What do I get? Ah! Oh, he's massive. Hook anything yet, Dan?
I've had needlefish hitting it. That's it.
I caught a lizard fish. Like a little 5 or 6 inch. I thought it was a pinfish and I just gave it a yank. I got him.
Big drum like them.
Yeah, I don't think I have a good bait set up on me. I might have something that would work.
I'm happy to give you one.
I bet you I don't have something that's legal.
No, I'll give you. Oh, you talking about for bait?
Yeah, that's what I like. Come on. Did I get?
You have soft plastic.
Yeah.
You don't need that.
I thought you. Oh, am I on? Yeah, it's still on. Let's see what I got here. Hold on. I was just trolling like you were telling me. And yeah, lizardfish. You were saying that's good drum bait?
That is at night. Yeah.
At night?
Yeah. I put a half a lizardfish on one of those big Owen Lupton rigs. Drum eat a lot of different things at night. I catch them on lizardfish. I catch them on croaker, spot, hayden, mullet. They're not picky at night. I mean, if they're growing along the bottom and they come across something, typically not going to. Oh, I'm not going to eat that because it's bluefish, not anything.
Oh, I see why chartreuse works well. This lizard fish has got some bright green on them.
That's one of my favorite colors because I can see it.
Oh, I was going to give it to the heron. He got off. That's lizard fish number 2.
Heron's so cool.